They were too tall, too strong, too human, and yet not human at all. For over a century, whispers have circulated about giant skeletons discovered across the world, bones that challenge everything we know about evolution. They were too tall, too strong, too human, and yet not human at all. For over a century, whispers have circulated about giant skeletons discovered across the world, bones that challenge everything we know about evolution. But each time they surface, something strange happens. The evidence disappears. Who were these beings? Why were their remains buried? And why are governments and museums so desperate to keep them hidden? In the late 1800s, explorers in the American Midwest uncovered what newspapers sensationally called the skeletons of giants. Some measured a staggering 10 to 12 feet tall, with skulls twice the size of normal humans and elongated jaws. From the Ohio River Valley to the deserts of Nevada, accounts flooded in. Ancient burial mounds filled with bones far too massive for Homo sapiens. Local tribes spoke of the Star People, celestial visitors who walked among humans and taught them how to build and farm. Archaeologists sent the remains to the Smithsonian Institution for study, but after arrival, every single record vanished. No bones, no photos, just an unnerving silence. Why would the world's largest museum hide proof of a lost race? Unless these skeletons weren't from Earth at all. Modern DNA science could have solved this mystery if we still had all the bones. But the few fragments that survived show genetic anomalies inconsistent with modern humans. Double rows of teeth, extra vertebrae, dense metallic bone composition, as if designed for gravity stronger than Earth's. Intriguingly, ancient texts describe similar beings, the Nephilim of the Bible, the Titans of Greece, the Anunnaki of Sumer. They were said to be offspring of gods and humans, hybrids who ruled early civilizations before being wiped out by cataclysm. Could these skeletons be the remains of those hybrid beings, proof that our creators once walked beside us? Researchers who spoke out about the finds often met ridicule, job loss, or worse. Photographic evidence vanished from archives, reports reclassified. One Smithsonian whistleblower claimed thousands of giant skeletons were destroyed in secret between 1900 and 1950 to protect the accepted timeline of human history. But why erase the past? Perhaps because acknowledging a hybrid race means acknowledging that humans didn't evolve alone, that our DNA carries traces of another species, one not from this world. The mystery isn't confined to America. In Ecuador, miners unearthed a 7-foot-long femur matching no known primate. In India, satellite images reveal burial sites large enough for 12-foot bodies. And in Sardinia, legends of the Great Ones align perfectly with skeletal discoveries, bones quickly seized by authorities. From the Andes to the Himalayas, the stories converge. Whispers tell of an ancient race that ruled before the Great Flood, a race created through genetic fusion between humans and visitors from the stars. These weren't just giants of myth and legend, they were the prototypes, the very first hybrid generation. If these bones prove that humans were engineered, then everything changes. Evolution, religion, even history itself, rewritten in bone and blood. The giants may be gone, but their DNA may live on inside us. And in the next episode, we'll follow that bloodline. If episode 1 revealed the bones of a forgotten race, then this episode uncovers what they left inside us. Across humanity runs a genetic mystery that science cannot fully explain, a blood type so rare, it seems to have appeared out of nowhere. Some call it divine, others call it alien. This is the story of the bloodlines of the gods, and the alien gene hidden in our blood. Every human on Earth belongs to one of 4 blood groups, AB, AB, or O. But within these groups, there's a mysterious division determined by a single protein, the rhesus factor, or Rh. This protein, found on the surface of red blood cells, acts as a fundamental molecular signature. The vast majority of humans, around 85%, have this signature. They are Rh positive, but the remaining 15% are a biological enigma. They lack this factor entirely, making them Rh negative, and genetically, they don't seem to fit. This isn't a minor variation, it's a complete absence of a key genetic instruction shared by most of humanity and even our primate relatives. This anomaly creates a bizarre and dangerous situation. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby can trigger a powerful immune response. Her body may see her own child as an invader, leading to a condition known as hemolytic disease. Mainstream science has no definitive explanation for the origin of this genetic paradox. Why would a species evolve a trait that causes its own body to reject its offspring? Some experts claim this mutation is too precise, too sudden to be natural. So if it didn't come from Earth, where did it come from? Across the globe, ancient civilizations describe their kings and queens as more than mortal, as direct descendants of the gods. This divine right was believed to be in their blood. In Egypt, the pharaohs claimed their sacred bloodline came not from Earth but from the stars. This concept is ancient. The Sumerian texts speak of the Anunnaki, celestial beings who mixed their genetic essence with humanity to create a superior ruling class, a hybrid race, half human, half divine. While these are myths, what if they hide a genetic truth? This is where the story takes a chilling turn, as modern researchers have noticed a startling pattern. Throughout recorded history, the world's most powerful royal and ruling families have unusually high frequencies of Rh negative blood. From Egyptian pharaohs to European monarchs, their genealogies were obsessively preserved. Marriages were kept within pure lines, a practice that seems designed to protect a rare genetic marker, something not of this world. Could this be the true origin of the term blue blood? Not a metaphor, but a literal biological distinction? Perhaps it was a secret they always knew, that their blood wasn't entirely human. In the rugged Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France lives one of the oldest isolated populations on Earth, the Basque people. For millennia, their remote homeland has preserved a culture and genetic heritage that stands apart from the rest of Europe. They speak Euskara, a language so ancient it's a true linguistic isolate, unrelated to any known tongue. But the mystery deepens in their veins. Their Rh negative blood rate is the highest in the world, a staggering 35%, more than double the European average. DNA tests confirm this separation. The Basques are genetically distinct from their neighbors, possessing unique markers not seen elsewhere. While scientists suggest this is due to descent from isolated Neolithic farmers, the anomalies fuel speculation about a more extraordinary origin. This resonates with local legends of beings from the stars, who descended and interbred with humans long ago. Their blood, the stories claim, was different, powerful. Could the Basques, with their singular language and rare blood, be the last surviving link to this original hybrid race? Rh negative individuals often share strange biological traits: higher oxygen processing, lower body temperature, heightened intuition or sensitivity, and a sense of being different or not from here. Medical researchers remain puzzled by their unusual immunity patterns and neurological signatures. If DNA is the code of creation, then the Rh negative factor might be a signature, a stamp left by whoever engineered us. And if those engineers were extraterrestrial, what was their plan? Our blood remembers. Hidden inside it may lie the truth of our origin, a silent message from those who shaped us. In the next episode, we'll uncover how these same bloodlines might be part of a modern program still continuing today, one that collects human DNA for something far greater, because if our creators never left, they might still be upgrading their creation. For decades, people have whispered about it, a program so secret that even presidents were kept in the dark, a network of underground labs collecting human DNA for something not entirely human. They call it the hybrid program. For decades, people have whispered about it, a program so secret that even presidents were kept in the dark, a network of underground labs collecting human DNA for something not entirely human. They call it the hybrid program. Microchips whisper under sterile light, Syringes draw samples, green lasers stitch data into patterns that should not exist. In these rooms, biology becomes a code base, rewritten, compiled, and deployed without consent. Air ducts hum like a hidden heartbeat. Behind sealed doors, ventilation masks the truth. Experiments never paused, they matured. Each echo down this corridor carries names, dates, and erased histories. It began in the shadows of the Cold War. At our most sensitive nuclear sites, military radar operators started tracking unknown objects. These weren't planes, they were silent craft hovering for hours over weapons facilities, defying known physics. Soon after, reports flooded in from the public. People were vanishing, then returning with strange marks, significant lost time, and terrifying memories of medical rooms filled with light. Publicly, doctors dismissed these accounts as vivid nightmares or a textbook case of sleep paralysis. The physical evidence was often ignored, but inside classified archives, military physicians secretly logged over 4,000 unexplained cases. Their findings were startling. Patients showed microscopic incisions and baffling DNA anomalies never seen before, a silent epidemic hidden from the world. Files stamped restricted, pages blur, case numbers vanish. Inside, physicians record anomalies, tissue that heals without scarring, metals that melt at body temperature, and sequences spliced with no earthly lab signature. By the 1980s, the focus had shifted. Private contractors under black budgets began mapping human reproductive DNA decades before genome sequencing went public. One whistleblower from Los Alamos laboratory claimed that certain blood samples were sent to off-world partners. His statement was dismissed as fantasy until his death. Within weeks, his data disappeared from every federal database. Across the globe, thousands of abductees report eerily similar experiences, a strange paralysis, floating beings, and the glint of silver instruments used for the clinical removal of biological samples. But the most chilling part isn't the initial abduction, it's what comes later. Many claim they were shown children, part human, part something else entirely. "They had my eyes," one woman said, recalling the disturbing connection, "but not my soul." Could this be evidence of a systematic hybrid creation project, a program where extraterrestrial intelligence uses human genetic material to evolve a new species, one better adapted for our world? If so, what is their ultimate purpose, and where are these hybrid children now? Deep beneath the remote mesas of Dulce, New Mexico, former employees have described a vast underground complex. They speak of entire levels dedicated to advanced genetic storage, completely hidden from the world. Level 5, they said, was particularly disturbing. It allegedly contained countless tanks of living organisms, some described as part human, while others were of a completely unknown, non-terrestrial origin. Skeptics laugh off these stories as fantasy. That changed when leaked photos from 1992 surfaced, allegedly showing unnatural embryos suspended in a strange glowing green fluid. Officially, the government maintains that nothing like this exists. But unofficially, every trace leads back to one chilling conclusion: the hybrid program is not fiction, it's an active, ongoing project. Today, scientists quietly confirm DNA mutations spreading across populations that have no known origin. Could it be that the hybrid integration has already begun? If true, humanity is no longer alone. We may already be the hybrids. Marble dark as space. Dust drifts like constellations. The hybrid program is not legend, it is infrastructure, hidden in budgets and basements. Next, names, locations, and the pattern that reveals where the children went. Previously, in the Hybrid Agenda, we uncovered the truth about giant skeletons hidden beneath ancient sites and the alien blood types that defy science. Then, in the Hybrid program, we revealed a chilling modern secret: the government's DNA harvesting operations and underground experiments to create hybrid beings. But what if all of this began thousands of years ago, when the first sky gods walked among men? In the cradle of civilization, Sumer, Egypt, and the Indus Valley, ancient people spoke of luminous beings descending from the heavens. They were not spirits, they were flesh and blood, tall, radiant, and powerful. They called them the Anunnaki, the Watchers, and the Children of the Sky. These beings claimed to have created humanity, not from dust, but through a genetic act that merged their blood with ours. Deep within the sands of ancient Mesopotamia, Sumerian tablets describe a project unlike anything of human origin. These clay records detail a deliberate act of creation. One chilling passage reads, "Let us make the Adamu in our image after our likeness." Archaeologists once called it myth, but controversial new translations suggest it was a biological blueprint, a precise set of instructions for sophisticated human DNA modification. The text named the chief geneticist, the god Enki, the lord of the earth. He allegedly oversaw the process, combining divine essence with existing hominids to engineer a new species capable of labor, complex emotion, and intelligence. Was this the true engineered birth of humanity? The pharaohs of Egypt claimed they were born of the gods, a divine right passed down through generations. The Mayan kings said their ancestors came from the stars, a lineage that began in the cosmos, and across every continent, from Sumeria to Japan, legends speak of divine bloodlines that ruled by celestial right. Now, modern genetic studies reveal that certain elite bloodlines, especially those with Rh-negative blood, contain unexplained anomalies that defy simple explanation. Could these traces be the biological remnants of ancient hybrid DNA? And if so, are the rulers of our world still protecting that powerful hidden legacy? Carved into stone, ancient hieroglyphs show gods holding rods, spheres, and coiled symbols, eerily similar to the structure of DNA. The temples of Egypt and the ziggurats of Mesopotamia were not only places of worship, they were biolaboratories where early humanity may have been engineered. In India, texts like the Mahabharata describe celestial embryos and flying chariots that carried life from the stars. Different cultures, same story, one hidden truth. If the gods created hybrids, what happened to their extraordinary children? Did they vanish without a trace or blend into the tapestry of humanity, their lineage hidden in plain sight? Myths tell of heroes born from gods and mortals. Hercules, Gilgamesh, Arjuna. We dismiss them as legends, mere stories. But what if they weren't just myths? What if these were the last recorded hybrids, walking, breathing proof of a divine ancestry that has been deliberately forgotten? Even today, unclassified genetic studies detect non-human markers in isolated tribes, signals that match no known evolutionary branch, coincidence, or coded legacy. Lastly, from ancient ziggurats to modern DNA databases, one message remains. Our creators never left. They live through us, in our cells, our blood, and our history. The sky gods experiment didn't end, it evolved. Next, on the hybrid agenda, we go inside the lost archives of the Vatican, where secret scrolls and forbidden texts describe God and human hybrids created for divine war. Did religion hide the final evidence of alien creation? Find out in episode 5, Gods Among Us, the Divine Hybrid Bloodline. In the vast winter sky, Orion watches, secrets buried among the stars. Inside locked rooms, files stamped classified hint at a story long suppressed. Whispers captured on aging tapes would ignite a decades-long investigation. On a cold February morning in 1954, something extraordinary happened. President Dwight D. Eisenhower vanished from public view for nearly 12 hours. The official story claimed he had a dental emergency, but witnesses inside Edwards Air Force Base said otherwise. They claimed the president was taken to a secure hangar to meet beings from the Orion constellation. In exchange for advanced technology, anti-gravity propulsion, energy devices, and materials unknown to human science, a deal was made. The aliens were granted permission to conduct limited biological studies on the human population. It was called the Orion Exchange Program. At first, only a handful of officials knew. Then the abductions began to rise worldwide. In the late 1970s, whispers from anonymous whistleblowers gave birth to a legend. Leaked documents, allegedly smuggled from Area 51, spoke of Project Sigma. This wasn't a weapons program but a top-secret communication link established between humans and extraterrestrials. The fragmented files described gray-skinned entities not as hostile invaders but as scientific partners. They were reportedly sharing vast amounts of biological information, including complex DNA data and even cryopreserved embryo samples for study. But buried within the technical reports was a single, chilling, handwritten annotation. In cold clinical script it read, "Subjects unaware of participation, integration successful." The implications were staggering. Integration of what exactly? And the most terrifying question of all, who were these unwitting human subjects in this cosmic experiment? The answer seemed to lie in a disturbing pattern of disappearances across the country. Ordinary people vanishing from their homes without a trace, only to reappear days later. They were disoriented, with large gaps in their memory, and one other shared, inexplicable feature: faint surgical scars. As decades of silence wore on, the secret grew heavier. By the 1990s, a brave few insiders tried to expose the truth. They were scientists and military personnel who knew the risks, challenging a system built to protect its secrets at any cost. One was a brilliant Air Force linguist. Poring over deep space radio bursts, he found an encrypted channel. He decoded transmissions, revealing a direct line between the Pentagon and what he called Orion Command. The messages spoke of retrievals and non-human biologics. He was preparing to go public. Weeks later, his vehicle exploded under mysterious circumstances. The official cause was mechanical failure, but the timing was suspect. In the aftermath, every trace of his research was erased, his files and recordings vanishing as if they never existed. His official records were sealed, but his widow's story remains. She claims that hours after his death, agents confiscated his computers. They also took one other item, a strange metallic sample he kept locked in his desk, a piece of evidence that was never seen again. In 2016, a document surfaced from the dark web, its origins shrouded in mystery. Labeled Orion Directive Phase 2, it was initially dismissed as a sophisticated hoax, but its contents were too detailed, too specific to ignore, leaving only the chilling, unverified text. The directive described a chillingly precise plan to systematically replace key sections of the human genome with a sophisticated non-terrestrial code. This wasn't about enhancement. The stated goal was to prepare our species for what it termed integration, a complete biological merger with an unknown intelligence. The scientific community publicly decried it as elaborate science fiction, yet in private a disturbing trend was emerging. Geneticists analyzing global DNA databases began discovering widespread, unexplained anomalies. These weren't random mutations, they were structured changes appearing simultaneously in disconnected populations across the globe. The patterns defied all known principles of natural evolution, forcing us to confront an unthinkable possibility. What if the directive was real? What if these anomalies aren't random mutations at all, but the first tangible signs of a silent, ongoing hybridization? From Eisenhower's secret meeting to the hidden Orion files, the pieces align. A silent agreement, decades of abductions, and a genetic evolution already in progress. If true, humanity may have never been in control of its own future. The Orion Treaty wasn't the beginning, it was the next phase of the hybrid program. Next episode, EP6, The Lunar Archives, Hidden Structures and Alien Control on the Moon, will uncover why NASA astronauts were ordered to remain silent, the mysterious signals detected from the moon's dark side, and how the hybrid program connects to ancient lunar bases. Production notes and credits for sources, music, and licensed stock appear on this slate. For centuries, humanity has gazed at the moon, a silent, glowing witness to our history. But what if that silence hides something unnatural? From Apollo missions to modern satellite data, disturbing evidence suggests the moon may not be what we think it is. This is the Lunar Archives. For centuries, humanity has gazed at the moon, a silent, glowing witness to our history. But what if that silence hides something unnatural? From Apollo missions to modern satellite data, disturbing evidence suggests the moon may not be what we think it is. This is the Lunar Archives. Officially, Neil Armstrong's first words were, "One small step for man." But the unedited transmission, heard by only a few, contained a second phrase, "They're already here, watching us." NASA quickly cut the feed. Moments later, the signal switched to a coded medical channel. a common trick to mask classified communication. To this day, multiple mission insiders claim the astronauts reported structures, lights, and moving objects near crater Aristarchus. Declassified CIA documents describe a Cold War program called Operation Somnium, a joint effort between NASA, the Air Force, and private aerospace contractors. The goal: monitor signals from the moon's far side, the side we never see. In 1973, that signal was detected, a repeating pulse, mathematical, intelligent, and constant. Its source was never found, but it came from beneath the lunar surface. By 1994, the Clementine mission, a joint project with the Department of Defense, captured over 1.8 million high-resolution lunar photos. Many were immediately classified, their contents known only to a select few within deep state projects. But when a handful leaked online, they showed what appeared to be vast towers, geometric domes, and strange metallic shadows. Independent engineers who analyzed the images found straight angles and formations too precise to be natural geological occurrences. Analysts rechecked the math, poring over the raw data. The patterns that emerged were simply unmistakable. Some structures even cast shadows that shifted inconsistently, suggesting active movement, as if they were still operational. When questioned, NASA dismissed them as optical illusions and image artifacts. But former analysts insist the evidence is clear. They were artificial installations built by non-human hands. Recently, astrophysicists studying lunar materials made a startling confirmation. The moon's isotopic composition isn't just similar, it's a near-perfect match to Earth's crust. This definitive data points to a shared origin, a fact that challenges everything we know. The prevailing theory suggests it was formed from Earth itself, a violent cosmic accident. But what if the giant impact theory is incomplete? What if that shared origin was by design? This radical idea finds an eerie echo in our most ancient records. Sumerian texts describe their gods building a celestial station in the heavens, a base specifically to watch over humanity. Could the moon itself be that station? An engineered satellite, a silent colossal monitoring base perfectly positioned for controlling hybrid integration on Earth. Every phase, every eclipse could be part of a meticulously planned surveillance cycle, a celestial clockwork observing our world. Then, in 2023, a catastrophic security breach, a torrent of leaked data from the clandestine Artemis project, revealed a set of deeply encrypted files, buried for decades and thought to be lost, all labeled Lunar Archive Access, Level Omega. As government decryptors raced against the clock, one folder among the thousands stood out, its title both cryptic and chilling: Observer Program, ongoing since 1969. Inside was not text, but raw data, spectrographic analysis of signals that defied all known terrestrial origins. The implications were staggering. If the data is authentic, the moon may not be the dead rock we've always assumed. It could be the control hub of a much older silent intelligence, watching, recording, and perhaps even guiding the course of evolution on Earth itself. For generations, we've believed we went to the moon to discover its secrets. But what if the fundamental truth is the exact opposite? What if the moon came here to discover us? Our story begins beneath a sleeping Earth where forgotten signals flicker in the deep dark. Faint transmissions from a bygone era now beginning to coalesce. Beyond the lunar limb, in the profound vacuum of space, a hush hides the first whisper. Metal reflects Earthrise as unblinking eyes watch the void, patiently waiting for a reply they were designed to receive. Instruments stir, a heartbeat in the static. Telemetry awakens as numbers, long dormant, learn to breathe again. A voice will carry it, a message delivered through wires across the sky and into the heart of human fear. For decades, the world believed the hybrid program was nothing more than a myth, a shadowy blend of abductions, alien science, and deeply hidden genetics. But now, something is stirring from the silent depths of space. A long dormant echo, a signal sent generations ago, is finally returning. All over the world, millions report the same unsettling dream, a sound, a pulse, a cryptic message repeating on a frequency that resonates deep within their minds. Baffled experts can only call it the global signal, a mysterious phenomenon without any clear terrestrial origin, defying all explanation. But to the few who know the truth, who have guarded this secret for a lifetime, it's the beginning of the return protocol. Dishes lean to dusk, listening like faithful sentries. In 2024, observatories across 3 continents picked up a synchronized transmission from the dark side of the moon, identical to one detected in 1973 by Operation Somnium. Only this time it was stronger and directed toward Earth. Hidden in that frequency was a mathematical code matching sequences within human DNA. Something or someone was activating it. In redacted halls, the past rustles. Operation Somnium, filed and forgotten, begins to glow between the lines. Windows wake together, a city breathing to one pulse. Within weeks, the reports began trickling in, then flooding. Thousands described sudden, unexplainable changes. Perception sharpened, sleep became a luxury, and they felt a profound spiritual sense of belonging to something beyond Earth. Geneticists, baffled, found the biological marker, unusual, complex proteins forming in their blood. These were new crystalline structures unlike anything known that uniquely respond to electromagnetic resonance. In the lab, when exposed to specific frequencies, their cells reacted in perfect unison. They fluoresced in intricate patterns, lighting up as if part of a vast network, communicating with something unseen. It was a phenomenon without precedent, a silent evolution in plain sight. The scientific community gave it a name, the awakening effect. Under a lone lamp, nerves hum with a new current. The signal now has a name. Lockdowns snap shut, corridors trade secrets with sirens. Behind closed doors, global agencies began to lose control. Secret memos between defense organizations mention hybrid synchronization events. Satellite footage revealed massive energy bursts from beneath known underground bases, Dulce, Nevada, Siberia, Antarctica, all the locations tied to the hybrid program. It was as if something buried for decades was reawakening. The Orion Treaty was being fulfilled. Stone remembers what mouths dare not keep. Etched in cuneiform, ancient Sumerian tablets speak of a time when the children of the stars shall reclaim the world of clay, a world they believed was once theirs. It is a chilling prophecy, a warning echoed by seers across countless cultures. From Mayan glyphs to Norse runes, they foretold an age when humanity would be irrevocably altered, no longer recognizing its own kind. That time may have arrived. A silent, pervasive signal now resonates within a select few. Those chosen are gathering, unknowingly, drawn by a primal instinct to ancient, powerful locations across the globe. And with every pulse of this unheard rhythm, each one is brought closer to their final activation and the dawn of a new, terrifying era. Cold servers murmur, weaving prophecy into packets. NASA's Artemis servers, breached in March 2025, contained a single classified note titled, "Protocol Complete, Phase 7 Initiated." No one knows what it means, but the signal continues to repeat, growing stronger with every lunar cycle. Silence narrows to a point of light, widening inside us. The hybrid program was never an experiment, it was preparation. And now, the time for silence has ended because the hybrids aren't coming, they're already here. The screen goes dark, but the signal stays steady, near.